People of Reddit, what is a surprisingly unknown survival fact that everyone should know? Elevator stuff. The star symbol on the elevator panel indicates the floor, that is the most direct route to outside. Every part of a dandelion, from the flower to the stem to the root, is edible. If you ever fall off a ship, ferry at sea and were lucky enough to be spotted, don't try to swim your way to safety. The more you try to swim, the lesser the chances of survival. Just try to keep afloat and conserve energy and body heat, while rescue team do what they're supposed to. Unless you are in hypothermic waters, the best bet always is to stay afloat without trying to swim to somewhere. This information about falling overboard, hypothermia and conditions, survival at sea, etc. are based on my own experience of 12 years sailing on merchant ships like this. https u2.be/raw39rtojv. Edit. P.S. Disclaimer. The link will take you to ship's video on my own YouTube. Making these videos is just a side hobby. If you're about to pass out from being exposed to heat, pour cold water on your forearms. Ice works even better. This is an old farmer trick. You will feel the effects immediately. You will stop being dizzy and feel better almost immediately. Dryer lint is super effective for starting fires. Cut 4 times the firewood you think you'll need. During the winter, it is way better to be slightly cold than it is to sweat. If you start to sweat, you can go hypothermic way faster. If you somehow are in a situation where you feel like you could drown and have no energy to go on, turn on your back and do the backstroke. Saved my life while at the beach last week after getting sucked out by rip current. Barrel cactus in the Sonoran Desert are not full of water as is commonly portrayed. Instead, they are full of acidic solutions that induce vomiting and diarrhea if consumed. These can easily be fatal for a dehydrated person in the desert. The barrel cactus fruit, by contrast, is one of the most agreeable edibles in the cactus world. They're easy to pick, thornless, and tasty. Very rarely are people mentally prepared to fight a naked man. When wild camping and hiking in Scotland, some Dutch outdoor guy told us to always keep tampons to start a fire. He was so right. In a wet environment, where all the leaves and branches are moist and the wind blows like crazy, we sometimes needed 5 hours to start a fire, and we needed the fire to at least have a warm meal in the night. They're the best fire starter. They're lightweight and tiny, easy to carry. You can pull them apart and there's a lot of easily burning material that you can use as a fire starter. Just because you're drinking water doesn't mean you're safe. You need to take in salt as well. I've seen this kick people's asses big time. They drink and drink and drink water but still overheat, throw up, pass out because they didn't take in any salt or electrolytes. If you are ever involved in gunfire or a shooting of any sort, a sharp cracking sound means the gunfire is aimed at you. A deep thumping noise means the gunfire is aimed away from you. 2 come to mind. Hypothermia can strike extremely quickly even when temps are well above freezing. In fact, it's said that more people die of hypothermia in summer than in winter. I've experienced it several times. Wind and a sudden cold rain are the common denominator. Here's http voices Washington Postcom/capital weather gang/2010/04/hypothermia_in_the_tune.html. A great first-hand story of a guy who experienced hypothermia on a 100-degree day in Virginia. So even in the summer, be very careful about hypothermia, particularly if you're going into higher elevations. The vast majority of people I see on day hiking trails seem to be completely unprepared for any change in weather. They're worried about bears, but not about rain. Totally backwards. Here in North America, hypothermia is almost always the greatest danger when you're doing stuff in the outdoors. When I'm doing a multi-day backpacker canoe kayak trip, I always pack a set of dry, non-cotton thermal underwear and wool socks in a small dry sack. Not to be touched unless everything else is soaked and I'm shivering. To date, that's happened twice, and I've been extremely grateful to have it. Short hikes are, in my experience, the most dangerous. This is because we tend to not take them as seriously. A person going on a 2-hour hike will likely not pack much, may not take a map or even really consult a map, may not tell anyone where they're going, etc. They may think that a liter of water in their cell phone is basically all that they need. All it takes for disaster to strike is getting off the trail and getting turned around, and/or for an ankle or leg to get broken. Throw in dampness and a miserable night of shivering. Hypothermia can strike at temps well above freezing, especially if you're wet, and suddenly that person is substantially weakened less than 24 hours after setting out. Here in the PNW, it happens all of the time. Somebody will venture off of a well-established hiking trail, not respecting the fact that it's rugged semi-wilderness all around them. And they'll get turned around and suddenly find that their phone lost coverage in all of those mountains. They'll start wandering. They'll do something stupid like follow the river to civilization, which in the mountains is generally horrible advice. And cue the rescue team. Monsieur, I'd consider myself a veteran hiker, backpacker, but I once got turned around on a crazy simple day hike. Ended up not getting back to my car until well after dark. After that experience, I made a simple survival kit in an Nalgene bottle, essentially the bare minimum that I'd need to reliably survive a few days on my own, and I always throw it in my backpack on even the shortest trails. Edit. The emergency bottle has a 2-person Mylar emergency sleeping bag, small locking knife, small multi-tool, small flashlight, compass, flagging tape, which is perhaps the most important thing in the whole kit, polysporin, meds, Tylenol, aspirin, Benadryl, Imodium, iodine drops for water, a couple lighters, a triangle bandage, brown athletic wrap, zip ties for repairing busted connections, securing things, a garbage bag, some beef jerky, some energy gel packs, and right on top I keep one of those chemical hand warmer things in case I'm so cold that I have to warm up my fingers to get them to be able to hold things. On the outside, I've got a bunch of duct tape wrapped around the bottle, which can be torn off and used as necessary. I've done this many times over the years, and I've also got about 40 feet of paracord looped around a climbing carabiner that attaches to the lid's loop. In all, it weighs something like 750 grams if I recall correctly. Less than if it were filled with water. Edit. And it also has a whistle. Pack a whistle. There's no chance your voice will hold out yelling at the top of your lungs. And whistles carry long distances. Especially handy if you've injured yourself and need to rely on others finding you. SOS in Morse code is ... So 3 short blasts, 3 longer ones, 3 short, pause. And repeat. This is an especially handy and harmless device to give kids that are along for a hike. Along with, if you get separated, stop walking and blow the whistle lots, and we'll come to you. Exposure and dehydration will fuck you up much faster than hunger. Bring spare socks. Your feet will rot if you don't. Here's one you can use every day. Know your exits. People will naturally want to go out the way they came in because it's the only exit they remember. Especially at places like concert venues. You don't have to be paranoid. Just take a quick glance and make a mental note. In the off chance an emergency happens, it could mean the difference between a swift and safe exit or being trampled in a panicking mass of people. Edit. I'm having a lot of fun reading all the replies that came in overnight. You guys are awesome. While I'm here, I'll add that exits in employee areas are fair game too. If you get stuck in your car in the snow, stay with your vehicle. Hypothermia makes you delirious and you can wander the wrong direction and freeze to death. Your vehicle is also a lot easier to locate than you are. You can get hypothermia in any water that's below your body temperature, which is pretty much any body of water. I used to be in military cadets when I was a teenager. The most important thing I've been taught to take care of is my feet. He mentioned how if you're gonna wash one thing that it should be your feet, as you take them for granted. Think of how difficult it is to get out of a survival situation where you have trench foot.